and Company.
Mighty fine, and a great big howdy to each and every one of you. We're mighty proud to be up here with you, picking and singing some bluegrass for the next hour. As Sergeant Jim said, we are Red and Murphy and Company, and quickly let me run through the names of all the folks. My name is Murphy Henry. I play the banjo mostly. My husband, Red Henry, here on the mandolin and the lead guitar, and also the fiddle. My sister, Nancy Hicks, down there on the end, playing the guitar, singing the tenor, and doing some mighty fine songwriting. And over here, on the left side of the stage, all the way from downtown. Well, it takes me a while to figure out which is left and right, you know what I mean? All the way from downtown metropolitan Hickman, Florida on the Dobro, we have Tucker. And all the way from Atlanta, Georgia, come down just for this weekend on the big bass fiddle, Mindy Johnson. We're going to get Red to step up to the mic and do a mandolin tune for you. This is one that he wrote. Red, do you want to tell him how you arrived at the name for this piece?
Well, I know from the richly varied character of all the happy upturned faces here before us this afternoon, we have some fruit jar drinkers in the crowd. Do we have any fruit jar drinkers? Volunteers? All right. Mighty fine. I'm glad you raised your hand, gentlemen. I know there are some closet fruit jar drinkers here, too, that wouldn't admit it. This is dedicated to all the fruit jar drinkers. Well, you look at the side of some of those fruit jars, and it has a commercial slogan there. It says, "Perfect Mason. Perfect Mason." That's a great name for a mandolin tune. So we wrote one. It's called Perfect Mason. 1, 2, 3. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Perfect Mason, Red, mighty fine. We're going to ask Red to play musical instruments here and bring the guitar back around. We'd like to sort of step back a few years and get one of what we call our Red and Murphy Golden Oldies. This is one of the very first songs that I ever wrote that we started performing as a band, and that sort of dates back to my high school days up in the corner of northeast Georgia. Now, Nancy and I were both raised up in Habersham County, right up there in the corner of northeast Georgia. When I was going to high school up there, well, going steady was a big thing back then, and if you were a girl and you weren't going steady with somebody, there wasn't just a whole lot to do when the weekends came along. So about the only thing you had left to do was get your parents' car for the evening, turn the radio up on full blast, pick up all your girlfriends, and head for the nearest Dairy Queen. Go riding around. Now, you see, all the boys who weren't going steady had also borrowed their parents' car and headed for the Dairy Queen, ostensibly to ride around also, but I'm sure I don't need to tell you the end of all this riding around that was supposed to be going on up there in Habersham County. Well, at least from the girls' point of view, you see, well, it was to get picked up. Of course, some of us were luckier at that than others. Actually, the lucky ones in Habersham County were the ones that didn't get picked up. A little bit like St. George, I imagine. Anyhow, I went riding around 3 years and didn't score once. So I sat down and wrote this little song. It's the title song of our first record album. It's called Riding Around on Saturday Night. When Saturday night would roll around and I without a date was found, which usually was the case, I hate to say. I'd make a dash for the telephone. I'd call up Sharon, Jane, and Joan and say, y'all want to go riding around. I'd put on my newest Bobby Brooks shirt, John Romaine headband, a villager skirt, my Ouija loafers, and the footies with the balls on the back. I'd cover my face with clear as cell, some tweed cologne for that fragrant smell. I felt just like a model from 17 magazine. Riding around on Saturday night, staying at home just wouldn't seem right. Turn on your radio, what a delight, riding around on Saturday night. To the lake in town, but we found that too depressing, so we split. We run out to see the haunted house, but everything there was quiet as a mouse, so we drove down Thrill Hill a couple of times. With the radio blaring out like my fire, we girls decided to retire to the Dairy Queen for an order of Cokes and French fries. When we got there, the lot put the slow down, line of cars going round it time after time, local boys revving their engines and hiding their beer. Riding around on Saturday night, staying at home just wouldn't seem right. Turn on your radio, what a delight, riding around on Saturday night. About to leave when Jane said to me, check out that hunk on the table over there. Well, I turned my head and beheld the sight of a pair of wingtips and jeans so tight that you could see the outline of his wallet in his back pocket. Looks good to me, I said to her. I believe that's what we want. Yes, sir, and those boys with him don't look bad either. When they got in, the car was full this time, but lake didn't seem so dull. Riding around's a lot more fun when you don't ride so much. Riding around on Saturday night, staying at home just wouldn't seem right. Turn on your radio, what a delight, riding around on Saturday night. Thank you just a whole lot. We're going to get Nancy to come around, Red, if you would get your mandolin back out. Nancy does a lot of fine songwriting for us, and this is one of her numbers that we've recorded. You know, we try to mix things up a little bit on the program, do some old stuff and some new stuff. We'd like to do some hardcore bluegrass. We'd like to do some novelty tunes, and this is what we'd like to call a little bit of disco bluegrass for all you disco lovers. Maybe a little early, but it's a good song. I know you're going to like it. It's called Two Hands on the Wheel. 1, 2, 3, 4.
soon be safely home with your two hands on the wheel.
Thank you. Thank you all. Nancy wrote that number, Two Hands on the Wheel. We're glad you liked that number. Let us know if you want to hear any particular songs of ours, especially that original material. We sure want to play it for you. Well, Murphy, what are you back in the good old bluegrass key of G for?
Red, I thought we might get down here in the key of G and do a little banjo number for all the folks.
Little banjo number for all the folks. Something dramatic, I hope.
Right, this is a little bit dramatic, Red. This is one we recorded on our Everyday Silver record album. It's a song that I wrote. Sort of starts off a little bit slow, and then we'll kick into it about halfway through. Gives the banjo a chance to shine for a little while and show you how pretty it can be when it's played slow. It's one called Hazel Creek.
Treble on that dobro, please, sir. Oh, we appreciate that. That's Hazel Creek. That's mighty dramatic there, Murphy. That one gets more dramatic all the time. I'll tell you what. Why don't you take out that old dog-eating, moth-eared Martin D28 there? Yes, there's one in the peg head.
That's right, Red. I prefer my own pick. I have a
That is your own pick.
Purple.
A purple pick?
Purple pick, that's right.
You better not take that back into Florida. It's not legal in some counties.
Alachua County, probably. Red, we had a request for one of our bluegrass food numbers. This is a little song I wrote. Well, you know, we do a lot of the bluegrass festivals, and on Sunday morning they like us to get up and do a gospel show a lot of times. So we always enjoy doing that a lot. The bluegrass gospel music is some of our favorite. And I thought we needed a little original gospel number, sort of spice up the set, you see. So I sat down to write one myself. Now, to get myself in the gospel mood, I started thinking about church. Now, when I was little, I always attended the Baptist church up in North Georgia. So as soon as I started thinking about church, I started thinking about what I used to think about when I was in church, which was primarily what we're going to have for dinner when we got back home from church. Well, you see, being raised up in North Georgia, that was a serious subject, Sunday dinner was. We got back home from church on a Sunday afternoon. We have a great big old plate of fried chicken waiting on us. Go along with that, we had a big old bowl of milk gravy, some of those Martha White biscuits rise up high and light every time. We had your fried okra, we had fried squash, we had green beans, black-eyed peas, corn on the cob, sliced tomatoes, all topped off with a big old glass of iced tea. So you can see my gospel number turned out to be a whole lot more about Sunday dinner and a whole lot less about church. Being raised up in North Georgia, only one thing to call it, so we did. Fried chicken.
1, 2, 3.
Well, when I was a little girl in the petticoats and frills, I went to go to church on Sunday up in the Georgia hills. But listening to the preacher, my mind would start to roam. I'd think about the dinner we'd have when we got home. And we'd have fried chicken cooked in a big iron skillet, sliced tomatoes and a mess of black-eyed peas, hot biscuit and a bowl of mama's gravy, string beans cooked with fatback and a big old glass of tea. Well, the mama did the cooking, the bud would help her, there's no doubt. Larry put the plates on when Claire would get them out. Archie got the knives and forks, the spoons were left to me. Nancy got the napkins and Daddy fixed the tea. And we'd have fried chicken cooked in a big iron skillet, sliced tomatoes and a mess of black-eyed peas, hot biscuit and a bowl of mama's gravy, string beans cooked with fatback and a big old glass of tea. I'll pick it red. Older and my southern seeds are sold, we do a lot of traveling and eating on the road. When we pull into McDonald's and we order our Big Mac, I can see that Sunday dinner as my mind goes wandering back. When we have fried chicken cooked in a big iron skillet, sliced tomatoes and a mess of black-eyed peas, hot biscuit and a bowl of mama's gravy, string beans cooked with fatback and a big old glass of tea. Yeah! String beans cooked with fatback and a big old glass of tea.
Thank you. Oh, thank you very much, fried chicken lovers. Funny, we get up in Georgia, we always get a good hand for that number. I don't know why. Speaking of fried chicken lovers, we're going to call on Tucker to come around and do a number for you here. Tuck's got his own dobro album out. Got a lot of fine music on it. Tends a little bit to the swing side, but of course you can tell right from looking at Tuck, he's not what you would call one of your original bluegrass boys. We like to refer to him as a token hippie of the group.
He doesn't even have his
Oh, give me a break, Tuck. But he plays a mighty fine dobro. We think he's one of the best. And this is a song that he wrote. It's a title song of his album, and it pretty well describes Tuck most of the time. It's called Tuckered Out.
Tucker on the dobro guitar. Well done there, Tuck.
Of course, would remind you, after the set, we will have our record album table set up. If you'd like to take home some of that fine dobro music.
I think we ought to set it up right next to those guys back there, Mark.
You mean the ones in the white shirts and the red ties?
Right, you got it.
Yeah. All right, Red. Sounds good to me. Maybe we can pick up some of their overflow.
Right.
Red, how about getting out your fiddle now? If you would, we'd like to do a new song for you. This is one that we're going to put on our new record album that we're going to be recording shortly. You know, a lot of the songs in bluegrass music are indeed songs of tragedy. And a lot of the numbers I write tend to be a little on the humorous side. Things like Grits in the White House. We thought that was a lot funnier until we got stuck with 3,000 copies of that in the closet at home. But this is a number we sort of patterned after some of the Stanley Brothers material. We're going to get ready to come around on the fiddle. It's one called Daddy Was Dying. thank you. Thank you so much. Really, really do appreciate that. Red, I'm afraid we're going to have to ask you to do your musical instruments again.
That's right. I was just looking for a flat pick, Murphy.
Just looking for a flat
That's
pick.
right, but this one's not purple.
Sorry about that. You can't always have the best, I don't guess, Red. We're going to get ready to come around with the mandolin and kick us off on one of Nancy's songs. This is one that's going to give him a chance to show off a little bit here. It's one called Two of a Kind.
Thank you. Thank you. That's one of Nancy's numbers. That was Nancy's first disco bluegrass number, I believe. And we're glad you liked that. We put that on a record album about 4 or 5 years ago. Well, Murphy, why don't you get out the old 5-string banjo and tell the folks a little bit about this next number?
All right, Red, we'd like to get a fiddle tune for you. You know, we like to include one of the old-time fiddle numbers in just about every program of bluegrass music that we do to sort of remind ourselves where some of the roots of the music are. We picked out one for you today that I'm sure you've heard many times, whether it's been right here on the stage or out in the parking lot or just somebody grabbing an old guitar and sitting around the living room strumming on it and singing in a few verses. Well, if Red gets all fired up here, he just might sing a few verses himself. It's one called Old Joe Clark.
dogs under the rug and drinks my whiskey up. He puts a fiddle in my hand and tells me what to play. He dances with my pretty little wife till break of day. Round and round, old Joe Clark, round and round, I say. Round and round, old Joe Clark, I'll be back one day. Joe Clark's house. Old Joe wasn't home. I jumped in bed with Joe Clark's wife and broke her pelvis bone. Round, round, old Joe Clark, round, round, I say. Round, round, old Joe Clark, I'll be back one day. Thank you.
All right, mighty fine there, Red. Mighty fine job on the fiddle there. Red, how about coming around with the mandolin again? We'll try to get something that's a little more on the bluegrass side for you. It's a number that was recorded by Bill Monroe and Mac Wiseman in their heyday when they were playing together, and it's one of our favorites. It's one called Sweetheart of Mine. Can't you hear me calling?
Since you left me all alone, I love you so.
gracious, it's just wonderful to come down here and play for some real bluegrass. Yes, woo. I shouldn't have drunk that before I come on stage. I knew it. Bluegrass lovers.
That RC Cola will do it to you.
I'm telling you. It was actually the moon pie, Red. It got stuck in my throat.
Oh, yeah, the moon pie must have done it. Oh, that's right, Murphy. Let's play these folks a number here that has been one several different bluegrass bands have been caught playing over the years. One of the most memorable versions was one put down by Carter and Ralph Stanley in their band a long time ago. But nearly everybody has tried to get a bite of it at one time or another. It's a good old song. It's called Just Because. 1, 2, 3. That nobody else has got. And just because you spent all my money, you laughed and called me old Santa Claus. Well, I'm telling you, honey, I'm through with you because, just because. For you, but just because you spent all my money, you laughed and called me old Santa Claus. Well, I'm telling you, honey, I'm through with you because, just because. Just because. Thank you. Oh, well, that's a lot of fun. That old Just Because. That's a good tune to pick, and it's in a good key. Well, Murphy, which of our selection of keys would you like to play this next number in?
I think C would be a good key, Red. One of my favorites.
All right, mighty fine. Well, I'll tell you what. We have some other boys here who like that old Voice from On High album, and I noticed they were doing a few numbers off of it a while ago.
Mighty fine, too, Red. This is a little gospel number we picked out for you. We tried to add a little of the old-time flavor to it by just getting Red to do the guitar, and, of course, Mindy holding down the bottom end there on the bass fiddle. One of Bill Monroe's numbers, and we understand he collected it from an AME preacher back in North Carolina. We're going to do it just a trio style. It's one called Walkin' in Jerusalem, just like John.
Just like John.
Oh, John, brother, what did you say?
Walking in Jerusalem just like John.
I'll meet you there on the crowning day.
Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. I want to be ready. Lord, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready. just like John. Well, some comes a crippled and some comes a lame, walking in Jerusalem just like John. And some comes a walking in Jesus' name, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John. Now, brother, be careful how you step on the cross. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. May your foot might stumble, your soul be lost. Walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, walking in Jerusalem just like John. I want to be ready, I want to be ready, I want to be ready, Lord, to walk in Jerusalem just like John.
Oh, thank you. That's a great old gospel number there, and next time we do it, Murphy, we can do it even better.
Yes, I'm sure we can. Red, we got time to do a couple more here.
Mighty
How about
fine.
come around with your mandolin and playing a mandolin
All right.
tune, if you would, for the folks? Let me remind you one more time, we do have our albums, 8-track tapes and cassettes with us. We're going to be setting up right back there by the Johnson Mountain Boys. We have 5 Red Murphy and Company albums out now, and they are $6 each. 3 for $15, 4 for $18, or any 5 albums or 8-track tapes for just $20. Tuck has his Dobro album out, and we can fix you right up with just about anything you want. If you got any requests you'd like to hear on the program tonight, please be sure and let us know about them so we can play what you'd like to hear. Red, you got that old mandolin gourd tuned up here?
Yes, Murphy. Well, you know, this number was written by a good friend of ours named Claremont Hosford. You folks may never have heard of Claremont Hosford. He was from the worst part of West Virginia. He was born about 45 years ago, and he took himself a trip out west to see Dr. Brinkley at radio station XCRA out in Del Rio, Texas. Time he got back, he was much the worse for wear for his travels, and he wrote this mandolin tune. He dedicated it to his girlfriend Helen back in Phoenix City, Alabama. Helen was a good old gal, and he named this in her honor. He called it Rawhide. Oh, thank you. That's Rawhide. We'll dedicate that one to Claremont Hosford and to Helen, his girlfriend.
All right, Red, there, Sergeant Jim and I are getting crossed on our signals. He said we got time to do one more short one. So we'll do one more short one and say we'll be with you tonight for another set of bluegrass music. This is one of our new songs. One's going to be on our new record album. We'd like to dedicate this especially to our youngest sister, Laurie Hicks. She's used to play bass with us. Some of you might have seen her. Held down the bass fiddle job for about 2 years and a half. Then she moved on to bigger and better things, as she thinks, up to Augusta, Georgia. She's attended medical college up there, studying to be one of them medical doctors. Well, I wrote this song just for her when she left the group, and the darn thing turned out to be so good, we just decided to keep it in the show. So, Laurie, we'll dedicate this to you, and just think, if you hadn't decided to go up to Augusta, Georgia and study, you could be up here on this very stage with us picking this very number. It's called Just Remember Where You Could Be.
In a bluegrass band, gonna work real hard, gonna make a lot of money. What a wild and crazy plan! But now, oh Lord, you're leaving. Gonna study, gonna be an MD. So when you're cutting on that cold, cold corpse, just remember where you could be. Picking bluegrass at the Orange and Brew, singing Rocky Top, Tennessee. Singing Fox on the Run, you son of a gun, won't you sing it once for me? Will you miss me when you're gone? Augusta, Georgia is no place to be. So when you're cutting on that cold, cold corpse, just remember where you could be. When you get down to his liver, Lord, think of good old Mountain Dew. When you look into that solemn face, let those brown eyes smile at me. And when you're cutting on that cold, cold corpse, just remember where you could be. Picking bluegrass at the Orange and Brew, singing Rocky Top, Tennessee. Singing Fox on the Run, you son of a gun, won't you sing it once for me? Will you miss me when you're gone? Augusta, Georgia is no place to be. So when you're cutting on that cold, cold corpse, just remember where you could be. So when you're cutting on that cold, cold corpse, just remember where you could be.
How about that? Red Murphy and Company. They do a real fine job, and they'll be back with us along about 9 o'clock tonight.
You're enjoying yourselves here because you're going to get some great bands yet to come tonight. We're going to have a great show for you all the way. Right now, I take pleasure in bringing to the stage a band that I've worked with off and on now, I think for, is it 5, 6 years? Got to be that long.
Oh, yes, it ought to be 5, 6,
At least
7
that
years.
long. And I still have fun bringing them on stage because they're fun to listen to. He's the big one, the big tall one. No, he's not Murphy, he's Red. She's the little one there. This is Murphy. A lot of people get them all mixed up. They think Murphy's the hubby and Red's the wife. Well, it's the other way around. I'll tell you what. Call it from Maine to Pennsylvania to Ohio, all the way to the Midwest and the like. A band right out of our neighborhood, right down here in South Florida. South Georgia, actually North Florida. Guess I gotta get that straight anyway. But they're right from our own backyard in Hawthorne, Florida. They are probably one of the most popular bands you're going to find anywhere in the country. They put on a show. They'll leave you in stitches before you through it. They'll also give you some of the finest bluegrass music you want to hear. Make welcome from Hawthorne, Red and Murph and Company.
Well, we're gonna breaking my heart that you don't care. Those red dogs coming for me. My back's packed, I'm leaving town. My mind's red hot, and I'm not changing. This means goodbye, you can mark it down. Slam the door before I'm gone. Get the message. You pick yourself up off the floor. Hello, my dog, it's coming for me. I'm back, I'm in town. My mind's been hurt, I'm not changing. This means goodbye. You can mark it down.
Thank you very much. Real pleasure to be back here with you tonight for another set of bluegrass music. That was a number written by Aubrey Holt. You all know him, one of the boys from Indiana, and a mighty fine song. We learned it from the Big Timber Bluegrass down in Orlando, and it's just become one of our favorites, so you can mark it down. Red, how about coming around with a mandolin now, if you would? Kick us off on an old bluegrass number. Could we hear a little bit more dobro? Is it in the monitor maybe, Tuck? Is that what you want? A little more dobro in the monitor. Thank you.
Oh, yes.
Is that good?
Fine, Murphy.
All right, thanks. Thanks a lot. What is this, Red, you going to pick for us?
This is put down in 1947 by Lester Flat, Earl Scruggs, and the Bluegrass Boys. It's a good old tune. It's called the Bluegrass Breakdown. 1, 2, 3, 4.
much. We appreciate that good round of applause for that mandolin number, the Bluegrass Breakdown. We're going to call Nancy around. If she would come around to the microphone and sing a song that she wrote. This is one off our Everyday Silver record album. Nancy does a lot of fine songwriting for us and sings the tenor on all the numbers and does the lead singing on the songs that she writes. This is one called Shine On, Evening Star.
I sit out on the front steps every night and watch the people on the street. Across the road the lights go on and there's a family sitting down there. Each wants to tell a story and no one wants to wait, so they laugh and talk together and say pass around the plate. Shine on, evening star, how I wonder where you are tonight. Won't you shed some light on my family? Boy next door comes out and takes his shirt off and your eyes have to run. He's feeling kind of blue tonight, but confident the trouble's gonna pass. He ain't cold, his hair ain't the color of honeycomb, but somehow he reminds me of him, the boy back home. Shine on, evening star, how I wonder where you are tonight. Won't you shed some light on my own true love? Walking down the street, I see a cowboy walking directly at me. She talks a lot of Lancelot and always says exactly what she means. We grew up together, never had a better friend, but I'm leaving and I wonder whatever has crossed me. Shine on, evening star, wonder where I'll be tomorrow night. Won't you shed some light on my lonesome road? Won't you shed some light on my lonesome
Thank you very much. We appreciate that. We're going to ask Red if he would come around with the guitar right now. And briefly, we'll just introduce the band to you, those of you who weren't with us this afternoon for our afternoon show. My name is Murphy Henry, and I play the banjo mostly. That's my husband there, Red Henry, with the guitar. My sister, Nancy Hicks, down there on the right-hand side of the stage, picking the other guitar and doing the tenor singing. Over here on the left-hand side of the stage, all the way from downtown Metropolitan Hickman, Florida, Tucker on the dobro, and the newest member of Red and Murphy and Company on the big bass fiddle from Atlanta, Georgia, Mindy Johnson. So we're mighty proud to be up here. This is our first time to be at Selden's Barn, and we are just really enjoying it. It's fine. We'd like to do a little homemade number for you here while Red's got the guitar out. This is a number I wrote especially for all the wives of the bluegrass musicians. Do we have any bluegrass wives with us tonight? No, too embarrassed to admit it. Well, I don't blame you, ladies. Being one myself, see, I'm up here on stage. Can't hardly hide that fact. But you know, I got to noticing something about men and bluegrass music, and that is this one thing. As soon as men discover bluegrass music exists, they each and every one of them want to trot down to the nearest music store, pick out a guitar hanging on the wall, take it home and try to learn how to play a G chord on it. Well, ladies, a lot of times this proves too complicated for most men. They get disgusted with it. They shove the guitar under the bed. Then they get to thinking, well, I really like this bluegrass music. I believe I'll try a smaller instrument. So they go down to the music store, pick out one of those little mandolins like Red was playing, take it home, open up the case. Surprise, surprise, surprise. They find out that mandolin's got 8 strings on it, which is 2 more than the guitar to begin with. And shove the mandolin under the bed alongside the guitar. Then they get to thinking, well, you know, what I really wanted to play all along was the most noble of the bluegrass instruments, which, as we all know, is the 5-string banjo. Thank you, chorus. Well, you know, they go down to the music store for the third and last time, pick out a little silver-tone banjo they see hanging on the wall, take it home and try to learn how to do the forward roll. Well, ladies, have you ever noticed that a lot of times men are not nearly as coordinated as they like to think they are? Yes. Yes, well, pretty soon the banjo's joining the mandolin and the guitar under the bed. Well, the thing I got to noticing and wondering about is all these instruments collected at my house under my bed. I started wondering where all the money was coming from he was spending on all the bluegrass instruments. Well, I looked in my pocketbook and I darn sure found out where it's coming from fast. I sat down and wrote this little song to commemorate that sad fact. It's called My Everyday Silver is Plastic. My husband, the redneck musician, says guitars are like a fine wine. He likes to collect them, preserve and protect them. He not only spends his money, he spends all of mine. Now my everyday silver is plastic, and really I think it's quite nice. My everyday plates are unlikely to break, but the paper gets left if they're washed more than twice. My everyday plates might say Wayland, I got them when I was out west. My everyday crystal makes great conversation. Do you think that the crunchy or smooth look the best? But what could I say? He had bought it for me. Now my everyday silver is plastic, and really I think it's quite nice. My everyday plates are unlikely to break, but the paper gets left if they're washed more than twice. My everyday plates might say Wayland, I got them when I was out west. My everyday crystal makes great conversation. Do you think that the crunchy or smooth look today? Then one day he said to me, partner, I need me a new mandolin. He bought him a handsaw and then bought a bandsaw and set up a shop in what had been our den. Now my everyday silver is plastic, and really I think it's quite nice. My everyday plates are unlikely to break, but the paper gets left if they're washed more than twice. My everyday plates matching Waylon and Willie and Jerry, Jeff and all the rest. My everyday crystal makes great conversation. Do you think that the crunchy or smooth look the best? Do you think that the crunchy or smooth look the best? Well, thank you very much. Appreciate your sympathy on that number, ladies. Well, we'd like to move from the ridiculous to the sublime, if we could, for a minute, and get something that's a little bit more on the gospel side. We really admire the music of the Stanley Brothers a whole lot. And this is a number that I wrote after listening to just hours and hours of the Stanley Brothers on my cassette player, driving to and from work in Gainesville where I teach banjo. This is one that's going to feature Red on the lead guitar, doing some of that George Shuffler style lead work for you. It's one called So What If He Did Drink a Little? They say when we all get to heaven, it'll be such a wonderful place. We'll see all our friends and our loved ones and look on our Savior's fair face. But I heard what the preacher's been saying, and Jesus, it just don't seem fair. If it's true, please don't take me to heaven, for Daddy, he may not be there. So what if he did drink a little? So what if he did like his gin? Oh, Jesus, he was such a good daddy. Won't you please let him in?
know it would break Mama's heart. And what of his dear aged mother? Sweet soul, she has gone home before. The last word she spoke was to Daddy, I'll meet you on heaven's bright shore. So what if we did drink a little? So what if you did like his gin? Oh Jesus, he was such a good daddy. Won't you please let him in? Won't you please let him in?
So what if you did drink a little? Mighty fine there, Murphy. I'll tell you what. Let's play these folks a number that was put down about 1960, give or take 5 years. Isn't that right, Eddie? By a band who used to work this part of the country. Carter and Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys. I think they must have written this on the old Jim Walter Home Builders Jamboree circuit. About 3 o'clock in the morning, bouncing along the old road between Valdosta and Waycross. If I lose. 1, 2, 3. Mama, back where you belong. I've gambled over town and find that I can't win. Come back and pick me up again. Now if I lose, let me lose. I don't care how much I lose. If I lose $100 while I'm trying to win a dime, my baby, she's got money all the time. I just ain't in the race. But now that you're back here, we'll make another round. With you here by my side, baby, the deal just can't go down. Now if I lose, let me lose. I don't care how much I lose. If I lose $100 while I'm trying to win a dime, my baby, she's got money all the time. Let me lose. I don't care how much I lose. If I lose $100 while I'm trying to win a dime, my baby, she's got money all the time.
All right, Red, it's about time for you to put down the old guitar and get out the fiddle, if you would.
Right, fine.
I'd like to come around and do one of the old-time fiddle numbers for you. Would like to remind you we do have our record table set up there in the back. Our youngest sister, Laurie, is visiting with us tonight, and she's sitting at the record table. She'll be more than happy to take your money. Our records are $6 each, 3 for $15, 4 for $18.95. Albums or 8-track tapes are just $20, and we do have Tuck's Dobro album. We also have Baby Chicks, Potted Plants, Painted Turtles, and Cypress Knee wall clocks in the van, so we can fix you up with your basic Florida souvenirs. Red, what you got picked out for the folks tonight?
Well, don't forget to tell them about the Tweety Bird keychains, Murphy. We won't want anybody to forget about those. Well, this is a good old number, you know. It's been around in the parking lot a long time. It's a lot of fun to play. And what it's called is Sally Goodin. Thank you very much. That's a good old fiddle tune there, an old traditional number, Sally Goodin. Well, Murphy's going to take the guitar out now. We'll change the pace of things a little bit and ask Nancy to sing you one of her songs. This is one we've gotten some requests for. We're much indebted to WMNF down in the Tampa Bay area for keeping this number on the air a lot for us.
Rand, you know, we always like to tell the folks that Nancy and I were raised up in northeast Georgia, a little town called Clarksville, Georgia, up in Habersham County. We get a lot of ideas for writing songs, for having lived up there about 20 years each, and Nancy's written this song that she put a lot of things in it that mean North Georgia to us. She's got some blackberries in there. She's got some red dust in there. She's got your peaches in there. Doesn't have anything about Herschel Walker yet. She's good. Yeah. Oh, yes. That's, yeah. Being down in Gainesville, Florida, I take a lot of grief standing up for the dogs down there. But anyhow, she's even thrown a little bit of Atlanta in for good measure on a song that we just call Georgia. Thank you very much. One called Georgia. Red, how about getting out your mandolin? We'd like to do something a little bit more on the swing side. This is the title song of our brand new record album. We like to call this one of our bluegrass food numbers because we're talking about some of your fine southern vegetables in there. We're singing about some butter beans. We're going to sing about some turnip greens. You know, it's awful hard to sing about either one of those southern delicacies without throwing in a little cornbread and buttermilk on the side. This is one called Sweet, Sweet Dixie.
1, 2, 3.
What living southern means to me. Sweet, sweet Dixie, in the South, it's where I want to be. Sweet, sweet Dixie, Dixieland is some sweet home to me. A great big howdy and everybody fine. That's what living southern means to me. Sweet, sweet Dixie, in the South, that's where I want to be. Sweet, sweet Dixie, Dixieland is some sweet home to me. Golden fried, Georgia ice cream on the side. Let your conscience be your guide. Put on a pound of 3. Wild hog chicken pie, cross honey hot new dye. That's what living southern means to me. Sweet, sweet Dixie, in the South, that's where I want to be. Sweet, sweet Dixie, Dixieland is home sweet home to me.
Appreciate that. I'll tell you what, Murphy, why don't you get the banjo back out? We'll play these folks a tune that was written by Bill Napier many years ago while playing with Carter and Ralph Stanley and the Clinch Mountain Boys. Well, they had a big job on the Jim Walter Home Builders Corporation Television Jamboree show. Some of you might remember that show. It came on 6 different cities every week. The boys are based in Lake City. Monday night, they played at Savannah. Tuesday night, they played at Jacksonville. Wednesday night, they played at Tallahassee. Thursday night, they played at Panama City. Friday night, they played at Dothan. Saturday night, they played in Montgomery. Then they had a day off to drive back to Savannah. That's an interesting way to make a living. They must have written this one in the back seat of their 1946 Hudson with the trunk full of good old instruments and the front and back and middle seats full of good old boys. Coming into Tallahassee about 5 o'clock in the morning. It's called Daybreak in Dixie.
All right, thank you. One called Daybreak in Dixie. We're going to ask Red to come around with the guitar now. We'd like to do a little gospel trio for you. This is one that Bill Monroe recorded with the Bluegrass Quartet. Quartet.
That's right, Murphy, and you remember Lester Flatt recorded it again back in the early 70s on his Flatt Gospel album. I understand the Bluegrass Cardinals may have put this one down a year or two ago. Recorded by Ridin Murphy in 1976 on R&M Records. It's called Shine, Hallelujah, Shine. 2, 3.
Of one side of things we hear, but I'll be like our Savior when we reach the home up there. Daily I walk in Jesus' footsteps, for I like Him all the time. When I hear the gates of heaven, I will shine, 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 shine. Oh, I'm gonna shine, shine, start the morning, bright morning, big man, shine with His mind. When I enter the gates of heaven, I'm gonna shine, I'm gonna shine.
Thank you very much. We always enjoy doing the gospel numbers. Red, we had a request for you to do a number here that we did earlier this afternoon, but we always like to try to get the numbers on the program that you want to hear. This is a guitar tune that Red's going to sing. I think he mainly likes to pick it, and he mainly likes to sing it because he likes to pick it. That's what I was trying to say. I believe this is an old pop number, Red, isn't it?
Well, it was a pop number back in the 20s, Murphy, and then the string bands picked it up, and then the bluegrass bands remembered it. It's a good tune. Just because. 1, 2, 3. You're so pretty, and just because you think you're so hot, and just because you think you've got something that nobody else has got, and just because you spent all my money, you laughed and called me old Santa Claus. Well, I'm telling you, honey, I'm through with you, because, just because.
blue. And there'll come a time when you won't have nobody to do nice things for you. And just because you spent all my money, you left and called me old Santa Claus. Well, I'm telling you, honey, I'm through with you, because, just because. Well, I'm telling you, honey, I'm through with you, because, just because.
Yeah.
Thanks.
All right, thank you very much. Red, would you hang on to that guitar if you would? We'll do another little gospel trio while Red's got the guitar out. We really enjoy doing the gospel numbers. And this is one that is one of the Stanley Brothers gospel numbers. And, well, we've been doing it for quite a few years, and it always been a little reluctant to sing it on stage, figuring it's a little too obscure. Then Emmylou Harris put it on an album of hers called Roses in the Snow, and I think she sold over 1 million copies, so we figured it was about time to bring it out of the closet. For us, we're just going to do it with the guitar and the bass. It's one called Going Up Home to Live in Green Pastures.
Troubles and trials often betray us, causing the weary body to strain. But we shall walk beside the still waters, with the Good Shepherd leading the way. Going up home to live in green pastures, where we shall live and die nevermore. The Lord will be in that number, when we shall reach that heavenly shore. Those who have strayed were sought by the Master, he who once gave his life for the sheep. Out on the mountain still he is searching, bringing them in for heaven to keep. Going up home to live in green pastures, where we shall live and die nevermore. Even the Lord will be in that number, when we have reached that heavenly shore. We will not heed the voice of the stranger, for he would lead us on to despair. Following home with Jesus our Savior, we shall reach that country so fair. Going up home to live in green pastures, where we shall live and die nevermore. Even the Lord will be in that number, when we have reached that heavenly shore.
Thank you.
Well done.
So we try doing banjos or something? Okay, thank you very much. We'd like to do a little instrumental number here for you. This is a theme from a movie soundtrack there. Recorded about 12 years ago, I reckon.
Well, Murphy, you remember the year was 1973. Warner Brothers Pictures released this number. It was recorded in 1952 up in Charlotte, North Carolina by Arthur Smith and Don Reno. That's right. It's a real nice tune, fun to play. It's called Duelin Banjos.
Flicks, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you very much. Oh, yes, that's always a lot of fun to play. Well, Evan says we got time to do a couple more. We'll close out with one more gospel song, and then we'll close out with one from our new album. This is a number that we learned, the first family of the bluegrass gospel music, the Lewis family. It's one we put on our first record album. It's a number entitled Joshua. That's one that's always a lot of fun to sing for us. Well, we'll close out with this number. We'd like to say we sure have enjoyed being up here with y'all. We got to head back downstate, going down to Crescent City, skin some catfish tomorrow. Don't forget about the big festival coming up in Lake Butler. That's going to be the last weekend in May, I believe. Red, we'll be there all 3 days along with Jim and Jesse and the Virginia boys. We'll close out with this one. This is another one we've done up especially for the ladies in the audience. You know, you don't see too many women playing bluegrass music, and we're mighty proud to have 3 up here in our band here tonight. So we'll just say, we'll dedicate this to any of you ladies who have heard this old saying and have gotten tired of hearing this old saying, keep your biscuits in the oven and your buns in the bed. This is called Ain't Domesticated Yet. 1, 2, 3, 4. Pour me another cup of coffee, sweet daddy, and I'll be trucking down the line. You know I like the way you make your coffee, daddy. You can pour me out a cup of any tub. And you're a dear old daddy, and I'd like to be your mama, but I'm just not the type to settle down. Looks like you stand with thought to put your biscuits in the oven, or living in the same old town. And you like the daytime, come on out and play time, sitting home and picking your guitar. I like the night time, come on out and fight time, driving in and playing in the bars. And you like staying, and I like going, go by and saying that your age is showing. Dear old daddy, I'm sure you're knowing I ain't domesticated yet. Pour me another cup of coffee,
coffee, sweet daddy. I'll be trucking down the line. You know I like the way you make your coffee, daddy. You can pour me out a cup of any time. Well, you're a dear old daddy, and I'd like to be your mama. I'm just not the type to settle down, 'cause I can't stand the thought of putting biscuits in the oven, living in the same old town. Jar at home. I like to spend it all, drink it up, have it all, use it while I've got a chance to run. And you like say that, and I love to spend it. Nobody said that my waist needs bending. I'm a roving mama patent pending. I ain't domesticated yet. Pour me another cup of coffee, sweet daddy. I'll be trucking down the line. You know I like the way you make your coffee, daddy. You can pour me out a cup of any time. Be your mama, but I'm just not the type to settle down, 'cause I can't stand the thought of